How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to some more Danganronpa IF. Well, Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc IF, the button of hope and the tragic warriors of despair. After a month, yep, this episode is being recorded almost exactly a month after I first started reading this in my birthday stream. Before we start, I want to clarify some things that have been happening in the meantime in that month. So a lot has been happening. My time to record has been cut dramatically, my time to stream has just been eliminated completely, and my time to edit existing videos has been wildly limited as well. So lately it's all been uni. I have to focus, and I mean, it's not a bad thing. I'm fighting for my future here. Anyways, with that aside, I do have several projects going on. I'm still debating on what series I'm gonna continue after Danganronpa 2 because I don't want to jump right into Danganronpa V3, but at the same time I do. But yeah. Anyways, continuing on. Danganronpa 2 is going live as we speak right now. Literally, episode 24 is being uploaded. And if I'm not mistaken, that episode contains the investigation of Chapter 5, which is still my favorite chapter of the game. Continuing on, I've already finished recording the entirety of Danganronpa 2, since this is a month after that. I told you guys that there would be, in the final week of my holidays, I would use the last 2 days to just record Danganronpa 2, and I kind of went bonkers. I finished the game. I'm not kidding, I actually finished the game. It was kind of crazy. And believe it or not, I've actually already started recording Danganronpa V3. It's insane. I know, it's fucking insane. And if you want to know how far I've gotten, I can't tell you just yet, because V3 isn't even being uploaded yet, and I don't know how long that footage is gonna sit there, so might as well keep quiet, alright? As for the first Danganronpa 1 top 10, I've got my off voice completely recorded and put into the editor, but I now need video footage and to edit the video itself, so that's gonna take another month probably, because right now my computer doesn't have enough space to hold the video footage that I need, and I don't want to blow up my hard drive. Simple as that. So yeah, that's basically everything that has been happening. As for the series that have been going on streams, like Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, Phoenix Wright: Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations, or Pokemon Ultra Moon, I'm debating about continuing one of them in video format, and the most likely candidate will be Ocarina of Time, mainly because I think the other two are very good interactive streams with you guys. You can choose stuff to do in Pokemon Ultra Moon and in Phoenix Wright, and yeah, Danganronpa is obviously the most obvious pick for a recorded Let's Play, which is what I'm doing right now with 2 and later on with V3. But yeah, so that's all I wanted to tell you guys. I don't know when this video is going live, honestly, whenever I feel like uploading it after editing it, and yeah, I think this settles it. I'm really excited to continue reading this because more Mukuro means more happy me. Let's go. So yeah, last time we stopped here, if I'm not mistaken, yep. As everyone wrestled with their own personal thoughts and speculations, Hope Speak Academy began walking a path toward a completely different chaos. So, if I'm not mistaken, Mukuro awoke Genocide Jack in front. Mukuro had awakened a Genocide Jack in front of literally everyone in the gym, and that was a distraction for long enough for Mukuro to literally save Makoto's life. So let's see where this is going. Oh man, I'm excited. With Makoto on her back, Mukuro took several trophies from the gym entrance hall, and after passing through the door leading to the hallway, she jammed the trophies through the door handles. Though Sakura could easily destroy these makeshift locks, they should buy Mukuro a few extra seconds. Then Mukuro started running to the nurse's office, the place she last spoke to Makoto. Everything necessary for performing first aid could be found there. Her little sister was her enemy, and this phrase right here, this is important. This is a basis of IF, if I'm not mistaken. Mukuro realizing that Junko was going to dispose of her. This is the basis. Her fellow Ultimate students were her enemy. Her only ally right now was Makoto, who was on the verge of death. Dude, ugh! Mukuro knew that even she wasn't her own ally right now. Amidst all this chaos, amidst their sister's betrayal and nearly being killed, she believed. She believed she was the only one who truly understood her little sister. That's why she felt like she had to protect her. That's right. You didn't do anything wrong, Junko. Oh, you're still thinking like that? Come on. You just wanted to feel despair, that's all. Right? Because you love me. That's why you wanted to kill me. You were just trying to feel despair, right? I'm sorry. I'm sorry I failed to bring you despair. Don't think like that, please. But at the same time, she wondered if she saves Makoto and betrays her sister by disrupting her plan, wouldn't that fill her with an even stronger despair? Oh, come on. Well, I guess I should have expected as much from the Despair Sisters, honestly. Wouldn't that make her happy? But betray Junko? What should I do? Mukuro closed her eyes and listened to Makoto's weak breaths. What should I do, Makoto? On a battlefield where all you need to do is kill and survive, Mukuro was invincible. She could suppress all her emotions and fully immerse herself in becoming a perfect killing machine. But, there's the but. On this twisted battlefield of daily high school life, she could no longer keep her emotions in check, especially around her little sister. Mukuro, the ultimate soldier, was beginning to question being ultimate despair. The impulses of the normal high school girl inside her were starting to affect her state of mind. So basically, it's what I've always thought about the dynamic between the Despair Sisters, Mukuro and Junko. Junko is despair incarnate. Like, she craves that shit. She is that shit. On the other hand, I always thought, especially after watching Danganronpa 3, I always thought that Mukuro was like sort of influenced by her sister. She wasn't originally like that. Even so, the poor girl continued to run through the dark hallways, clinging to this conflict within herself. She was now walking along a narrow, air-thin path. A path between the hope of Makoto Naegi and the despair of Junko Enoshima. Ooh boy, things are heating up. Meanwhile, we return to the gym where Genocide Jack is going crazy. Everyone still in the gym was left in a state of complete confusion. Toko was famous for being a prolific author, but even though she came across as unsociable and depressing, her mind-blowing transformation seemed to have just tossed that all aside. I don't know who's talking. Toko is Genocide Jack? Sayaka, obviously. Toko is Genocide Jack? Sayaka trembled with fear as Jack tilted her head and stuck out her long tongue. Huh? What's with this reception, you guys? You guys didn't know who I was? Have I been found out? Or have you known all along? And why was the sullen samurai dressed like that? That outfit didn't look good on her at all. The sullen samurai was probably referring to Mukuro, which means Toko already knew Mukuro in advance. Confronted by that shocking truth, the students had no idea where to begin talking. So many things were clearly wrong by this point. But there were a few students, such as Byakuya and Kyoko, who opted to remain calm and observe the situation. Ah yes, the duo that, combined with Makoto in the normal game, would make the trio. Alright, I'm guessing this is Mondo. Alright, someone better spill it. Okay, no. I don't know who this is. Alright, someone better spill it. Who gave Makoto an extra mouth to feed? I don't care if you want to stab him or slice him. Oh, it is her. Alright. It is Genocide Jack. Alright, someone better spill it! Who gave Makoto an extra mouth to feed? I don't care if you want to stab him or slice him. I just can't forgive whoever put that ugly ass hole in Big Mac's side. Toko, no Genocide Jack, spun her scissors in her hands. As she spoke, her emotions and facial expressions constantly changed. Even without the threat of her scissors, she exuded an aura of danger that made her unapproachable. The flank stick of a young boy like Macaroons is like a bluebird that pops out a golden egg. If you would have just let me handle it, I would have killed him so good that even Tiltle and Miltle would be eager. I don't know what that is. But poor Makuhi's heart and soul had been stomped on by such a sloppy kill. That actually sounds pretty exciting too! But I declined. Kyoko, you're not making any sense. What in the world happened to you? Genocide Jack answered by pointing her scissors at Aoi. What happened to me? I got bored, that's what. That sourpuss locked me up a few days ago, but when she went unconscious, I thought I'd finally get to do my thing. But I woke up for all this. My cutie. Oh, my cuties. My cuties sucked with blood, and I've got no clue what's going on. So damn confusing. All I can do is laugh. No one seemed to be able to get a straight answer of Jack, so Hifumi made a timid remark. Yeah, I've dealt with girls like this in my 2D dating games, but this doesn't even compare. It's like there's an SSS difficulty level to clear her. I can't believe you'd even think about her as someone worth clearing, mumbled Leon. It was clear that things were going nowhere. And as if she were responding to everyone else's expectations, Sakura stepped forward. She might be in the throes of confusion. I should try to restrain her for now. As soon as she heard that, Genocide Jack stopped moving, stuck out her lizard-like tongue, and grinned wickedly. Oh, what's up? Are you really gonna fight me, Battle Ogre? Too bad! My lovely scissors are only for cutting through adorable boys! Women should just stay home. I won't taint my scissors with your filthy blood. Replied Sakura. It seems my words are useless on you. I've completely forgotten the voice I gave Sakura. In fact, I've forgotten the voice I've given everyone, so I'm just trying to remember the voice actors the best I can. I apologize for that. Sakura entered the fighter stance, determined to restrain Jack, but Jack knew she couldn't win in a fair fight, and adopted a strange stance of her own. In a normal fight, Jack would obviously lose to the ogre, but if Jack focused on just on dodging attacks, the outcome of the fight would be hard to foresee. Of course, Genocide Jack's physical abilities were only obvious to a few of the students in the first place. The two women exchanged hostile stares as the other students gulped nervously and watched. So basically we've had, what, 2 battles? Yeah, Mukuro versus Sakura, which was amazing. And we're about to have Genocide Jack versus Sakura, which is bound to be amazing. Except for one person, Kyoko. Yep, Kyoko was watching something else. She was watching Monokuma, who was in the corner of the gym, unmoving as the white noise emitted from his speakers. No, as white noise? Huh? He had stopped moving the moment everyone's attention focused on Sakura and Toko. It's possible that Madurai's hacking has been disrupted, but... Oh right, so Madurai, I still haven't seen who it is, but I'm pretty sure it's the character from Danganronpa 0. If I'm not mistaken, he's the ultimate hacker, if I recall correctly. An infinite number of other possibilities were also swirling around in Kyoko's mind. She brushed back her hair with a gloved hand and continued to watch. Though she couldn't fully remember her talent, the actions she was taking right now were fueled by pure instinct. The strange situation that kept occurring in front of her was shaking her to her very core. Her mind worked diligently to scoop up countless amounts of information from her vast sea of memories. And as they were synchronizing with the synapses firing in her brain, Sakura and Toko kicked off the ground at the same time and an intense impact rang throughout the gym. So, battle start. Meanwhile, at the nurse's office, yep. Thanks to the heated battle that was unfolding in the gymnasium, Mukuro Ikusaba was able to buy more time than she had imagined. As soon as she entered the nurse's office, she rummaged around for medical supplies and did what she could to stop the bleeding. Though still quite shallow, Makoto's breathing slowly stabilized. Mukuro let out a little sigh of relief. However, even though she was somehow able to stop the bleeding, she wasn't out of the woods yet. Miraculously enough, it seemed not like none of Makoto's major arteries or organs were damaged. Was this perhaps thanks to his ultimate luck? Ultimate luck. Did someone say luck? Or maybe he wasn't actually all that lucky. After all, the only sort of medical treatment he could hope for was partial at best. Mukuro couldn't decide. If only I could do a blood transfusion. The nurse's office should have had several blood packs for transfusions. Mukuro suspected that Makoto's blood type might be written in his handbook, but as she reached over to search his pockets, I see her reaching for a sleeping boy's clothes. What in the world is about to happen? It's Junko. What in the world is about to happen next? Adults can keep playing, but you kids better press the beep. Oh, it's gotta be Junko. Nobody else fucking breaks the fourth wall like that. Fuck you. Yeah, Monokuma. It's what I thought. It's what I thought. It is Junko, but it's not Junko, it's Monokuma. Mukuro turned toward that familiar voice and saw Monokuma standing before her.
You're all alone with Makoto right now. Just think of me as a cute wild animal and let your lust lead the way. As the headmaster, I must prevent any illicit sexual relationships. But physical education classes are just fine, Missy.
Okay, I get why you said to press the B button. No, you look just like the one that was at the gym. It was clearly a different Monokuma. Yep, because Kyoko's point of view said, "Whoa, the Monokuma just stopped. I wonder what happened." Multiple Monokumas had been placed throughout the entire academy, so it wasn't a stretch for him to suddenly appear out of nowhere. So basically, every room had a Monokuma. Regardless, the same person was controlling all of them. Mukuro had been wary of Monokuma's attacking her while she was treating Makoto's wounds. But his appearance at this particular moment seemed to take her by surprise.
Junko?
Asked Mukuro cautiously. Monokuma tilted his head along with his entire upper body inquisitively. Inquisitively?
What? Junko? Who's that? Junko? I've never heard of that country before!
No more jokes. Answer me, Junko. You were planning to kill me earlier, right?
Junko this, Junko that, what's your problem? I'm telling you I'm Monokuma! You must be a big disappointment if you can't even remember something like that. You're not just a disappointment as a person, you're a disappointment as a sister too! You're too skinny and your brain is nothing but muscles and your personality is just unbearable!
Yeah, it's Junko.
I'm sorry,
said Mukuro. She didn't need to apologize, but hearing her little sister call her disappointment yet again was enough to make her ultimate soldier recoil. Monokuma ignored her and her current situation, climbed on top of Makoto's barely breathing body and began poking his cheeks.
So, what are you going to do with Makoto now? I'm really interested in human mating habits, you know?
Oh god.
What are you...
asked Mukuro before trailing off. Monokuma lowered his tone and began whispering into her ear.
Makoto's a pretty nice guy, huh? He even sacrificed himself to save you. He's so generous that it's actually hopeless.
He's not dead yet, insisted Mukuro. Despite her firm tone, she couldn't hide the fear lingering in her voice.
That's the most disappointing thing about you. You can't even say, I won't let him die.
I won't let him die, Junko. Mukuro could barely get a word in as Monokuma erupted into boo-hoo-hoos and ha-ha-ha-ha and continued to torment her.
As if you could do that. Too bad, no regrets, see you tomorrow. Is this all because Makoto was the first person to smile at you? You, a disappointing, depressing, unladylike, inhuman killing machine!
Despite denying that he was Junko, Monokuma began speaking at length about Mukuro's past. Oh god. His contradiction was very much like Junko, and Mukuro was so shaken that all she could do was watch the bear prattle on and on.
Only the fit survive in this world. The only thing that kind-hearted people can do is die, you know. As proof, you're gonna watch Makoto die really soon.
You won't die. Mukuro's tone of voice had become irregular ever since she took off her Junko wig. Aside from her conversation with Makoto, everything she said as Junko was from a script that her sister had written. But now there was no script for Mukuro to rely on anymore. Mukuro was treating Monokuma like she would treat her own sister. If the other students saw her acting so weak, they'd never believe she was the same person who fought Sakura in the gym. And not just that, if anyone from her mercenary past could see her now, her stark change in attitude might make them think she was someone else entirely. Monokuma continued to rail against Mukuro.
Nope, he's gonna die. I know it's sad, but you just have to face the facts.
Monokuma wriggled his limbs and danced around, then pointed right at Mukuro's face. Oh god.
Because Makoto is going to die by your hands.
Okay, that's new.
Huh? In fighting among the terrorists. The big bad terrorist silences the weak-willed Makoto before he can leak any information. Doesn't that happen all the time?
Is that your idea, Junko?
In the end, all the desperate things you said in the gym turned out to be lies you told just to escape.
Mukuro frowned at Monokuma. You can't do that, Junko. I won't let you do that. As she blurted out those words in a trembling voice, Mukuro was gripped with confusion about what she had just said. Am I defying Junko right now? Why? It was a strange feeling. Mukuro, it was like she was standing on the ledge of a tall building and imagining what would happen if she jumped. A destructive feeling, akin to holding a friend's baby and wondering what would happen if you tripped and fell. Yeah, I think I'm starting to see what IF is all based on. I'm starting to see it. If it's based on Mukuro's relationship with Junko, can she defy her? That's the question. And right now, it's a solid no-no, my friends. Before she knew it, fear and anxiety had suddenly taken control of Mukuro's heart. As a member of Fenrir, as the ultimate despair, Mukuro had killed innumerable people. She had handled live grenades before. She had descended from the sky in a parachute as anti-aircraft weaponry fired all around her. Her heart never wavered on the battlefield, but now it felt like it could collapse at any second. Monokuma, however, was as stable as a tree, and slightly tilted his head to the side.
Huh? Weren't you listening to my story? I'm not the one who's gonna kill Makoto. You are.
What are you saying, Junko? Monokuma began giving a strange explanation to a very confused Mukuro.
Do you know what the suspension bridge effect really means? It means you push the person you love off a bridge and they'll be yours for eternity.
I haven't heard that at all.
Life doesn't always follow with what your textbooks say. It's sad, but that's what love is.
His words made no sense, and Mukuro couldn't think of anything to say as she stood there dumbfounded. Meanwhile, Monokuma continued his little speech, intentionally saying things meant to antagonize Mukuro.
Basically, this is your big chance, you know. If you kill Makoto right here and now, nobody will ever take him away from you again. Makoto Naegi, dead by dawn. The last name he ever spoke was Mukuro Ikusaba. The last person he ever smiled at was Mukuro Ikusaba. Doesn't that sound wonderful?
There was a certain appeal to Monokuma's twisted suggestion, and Mukuro found herself unsure of her own judgment. So Junko is basically trying to brainwash her sister again. I got nothing, alright? Just fight it back. This is wrong. It has to be wrong. It's really Junko saying all this. Doesn't that mean it's right? No, this isn't Junko, it's Monokuma. Monokuma.
And are you sure you want to help Makoto? Once he gets better, he's gonna know everything. He'll know what you did to your classmates. I can't believe you would actually erase your friends' memories of their time together and force them to kill each other. Makoto might get mad at you and say, our real enemy isn't the bear, it's her. Do you really want him to blame you for this?
Mukuro's face turned pale. Holy shit, Junko's hitting her where it matters.
Or are you going to kill the others? If everyone except you and Makoto dies, you'll be able to spend the rest of your school life together. We can't hold a class trial with only 2 people. It might be a good idea for you both to live the rest of your lives in this academy forever.
No, that's wrong. No, that's wrong.
And what are you going to do if his memories return? It's not like you were dating Makoto or anything. You were just watching him from afar the whole time.
Oh.
Man, you're so shy. You can shoot people's hearts and brains, no problem. But you can't even woo some stupid boy into liking you. Do you want to know who Makoto had a crush on before his memories were taken away?
Mukuro trembled as Monokuma continued pressing the issue, gradually loosening the screws keeping her heart secure. So Mukuro chose to pretend she didn't hear anything at all. All emotion vanished from her face, and she looked silently for Makoto's handbook.
If you're looking for his blood type, it's not written in the handbook.
Mukuro's face turned pale. Within 5 seconds, her plan to ignore Monokuma had already failed. Jesus, Mukuro, come on!
But since your headmaster is made up of 50% kindness, I'll tell you anyway. Makoto's blood type is B.
As soon as she heard him say that, all the anxiety, horror, hostility, malice, and dread churning within Mukuro had completely vanished. Thank you, Junko. Mukuro's eyes sparkled without a hint of suspicion. So she turned her back to Monokuma without a hint of suspicion and walked toward the refrigerator containing blood bags. Oh god. Fresh blood bags should have been prepared before the plan took effect. They'll last in cold storage for 21 days. They should still be good. Despite her emotionless face, Mukuro let herself feel a small amount of satisfaction as she took out a blood pack from the refrigerator. As Monokuma watched her, his normal emotionless eyes twitched ever so slightly. If a third party could see his face right now, or even if the other students could see his face right now, they'd wonder, is Monokuma surprised? Oh? That's right, they'd have the same shocked look on their faces as if they were seeing Monokuma for the first time. At that moment, a whisper crept out of Monokuma's emotionless face.
There should be a limit to how disappointing you can be.
It was far quieter than a mosquito's wings. Even with her battle-hardened hearing, Mukuro couldn't hear what he said. Monokuma shook his head and the voice returned to normal. Oh?
It's not like I care that you, the ultimate despair, has hope in anything. It's not like I expected much from you to begin with, so this will at least help me feel despair. But seriously, you disappoint me. Just so you know, despair and disappointment are completely different things, okay? They're as different as bears and pandas.
Why are you... Mukuro's body started to shake as she turned back to look at Monokuma. He hadn't started talking any differently than usual. Junko hadn't turned off the voice modulator and started talking in a real voice or anything. And yet, Mukuro was utterly terrified. He was terrified on instinct, not as a soldier. Half the reason she was terrified was because of her instincts as the ultimate despair, and the other half was because she was Junko's older sister. Even through Monokuma, her instincts were telling her that Junko was annoyed with her. Junko? Why are you annoyed? Is it because I betrayed you? Or is it because I didn't die like you wanted me to?
Ah!
Sulked Monokuma.
I'm beyond annoyed! I'm really angry! And I'm really disappointed right now! I'm so pissed I could take a rage nap right now!
Monokuma's anger didn't seem any different from his usual anger toward the students, but Mukuro could instinctively sense another emotion mixed with it. Right now, she could feel that Junko was feeling hopeless disappointment. It's normal for someone who's disappointed to lose hope, but for ultimate despair, disappointment means something else entirely. To them, disappointment was tantamount to losing despair itself. Mukuro was a member of Ultimate Despair. At her sister's behest or whatever, Mukuro had soiled her hands many times in order to fill the world with despair. Danganronpa 3. Despite her pride toward being a member of Ultimate Despair, there was a clear difference between Mukuro and her sister. Junko Enoshima was despair incarnate. It was born in despair, letting it infect other people's hope so it could rot them from the inside out, twisting them into her own image. For Junko, feeling hope was its own despair. Creating despair in others created despair in herself, which caused her to feel both intense pain and intense bliss. Junko had walked the fracture created from the conflict between pleasure and penance all her life. Eventually, the fracture would widen until it swallowed the world and tore it in half. But Mukuro, on the other hand, had neither hope nor despair for the world. At least, not when she was a member of Fenrir. Ever since she was a child, Mukuro believed she was meant to spread despair because of her sister. There it is! I was fucking right! I was right. She didn't harbor any ill will toward the world. She simply accepted she was meant to spread despair and chose to walk the same path as her sister. She got influenced. The doubt she felt was only a recent development. When Junko told her about the plan, when she watched the world burn at the hands of terrorists wearing Monokuma masks, she never wavered once. However, as soon as she heard about her sister's plan to make their classmates kill each other, Makoto included, a strange feeling began to stir within her. What started as a seed of doubt soon grew into a thorny vine ensnaring Mukuro's feet. So basically, I'm guessing the reason why Mukuro died in the original... Sorry about that. The reason why Mukuro died in the original game was that Junko could literally read Mukuro. I was about to say Makoto. But Junko could literally read Mukuro's emotions. And since Mukuro was somehow doubting the killing game, she was like, nah, As soon as she disguised herself as Junko and finished meeting the other students, as soon as she had confirmed that everyone's memory had been completely taken away, that vine began tightening around Mukuro's heart. They're gone. Junko's the only one who knows about me now. That's it. But that's no problem. It's just like old times. Things will never go back to how they used to be, but that's fine. This should be fine. She had relinquished the past 2 years she had spent with her friends so she could betray them and deliver death and despair unto them. Though her heart ached, Mukuro was beyond feeling guilt or remorse for her actions. The question, why does my heart ache like this, still remained unanswered. Perhaps that's why she spent so much time talking to Makoto when he was in the nurse's office. And when Makoto gave her that one particular answer, something changed inside her. In return, if I promise that if I do decide to kill someone, it won't be you. The words Mukuro blurted out to Makoto weren't improvised to further her role as Junko. It was an honest sentiment from the bottom of her heart. She was even planning to ask Junko herself if Makoto could somehow be spared from her plan. Over the past 2 years, Mukuro's interests had been slowly shifting away from her sister and toward the world itself. By extension, her interests also included Makoto, the first person to ever smile at her and make her feel connected to the world. He was like a sapling of pure honesty that had taken root in Mukuro's heart. Alright, before I continue, this is amazing writing. This is fantastic writing. And Mukuro, and I'm really liking Mukuro. Oh god. So, quick side note, I had a really bad case of hiccups today. So if I have an occasional one from time to time, don't think I'm having like a stroke or something. But by the time she realized that, the tree had already rotted. As Mukuro struggled to understand the situation, Monokuma let out a sigh and said,
I wonder which part of you is a wolf anyway. You're just a dog that blindly follows Junko's orders. What does the tattoo on your hand even mean? Are you just a bitch who's pledged her loyalty to her owner? I bet Toko would say that, I'm positive.
Oof. And here's what I like about Junko. She doesn't give a shit. She strikes where it matters. Monokuma continued to talk as Mukuro stood in confusion.
I was obviously lying when I said Makoto's blood type is B.
What? You lied? Oh, cried Mukuro. Junko?
A normal person would have been suspicious. I never thought he'd actually believe me just now. I must have misplaced my eyes because I totally did not see that coming. Not even with my ability to predict the future. How shocking. Jeez, I'm about to start crying my eyes out like I'm some sort of robot cat, seriously.
It's going to be okay, Junko, said Mukuro. I know our plan kind of fell apart, but I'm still on your side. Are you feeling alright? Because I'll do anything.
Snap!
Oh, snap. Okay, a harsh sound came from Monokuma's mouth.
That sound was one of my circuits overloading. It's been so long since I felt this angry. Meet me on the roof of the school. I'll smash all your baby teeth.
Monokuma started shadowboxing in front of Mukuro, who remained frozen in place, clutching a blood pack in her hand. She still looked confused, and Monokuma threw up his arms in frustration.
You're so disappointing, I can't even predict it anymore!
A threatening roar burst from Monokuma's mouth as he leapt at Mukuro with his sharp claws extended. At that moment, her face became completely emotionless. It was not a conscious action. The defensive instincts she owned during her time with Fenrir temporarily suppressed her emotions as she countered Monokuma's attack. Holy shit! Mukuro grabbed a nearby IV stand and used it to parry Monokuma's claws. However, Monokuma's claws seemed to be made with a special alloy and easily sliced the bar in half diagonally. Huh? But instead of following up his attack, Monokuma continued talking to Mukuro.
I guess you're not much of a disappointment when it comes to fighting. In fact, if you were so pathetic that you died from that single attack, that would have been interesting in its own way. But right now, you're just incompetent at everything!
I'm sorry, said Mukuro. I couldn't help blocking your attack. But there's no way I can fight you, Junko. After all, I'm all you have. I'm the only one who understands you at all. Mukuro's words were riddled with endless dismay. The contrast between her usual stoic self and the way she was acting now was so stark People might assume she had multiple personalities. You said that before. However, Monokuma just quietly stared at her. He was perfectly still, as if all his functions had powered down completely. Mukuro continued to share her feelings. There's no way I can just leave you alone. And then Monokuma broke his silence, but at that moment, a monitor in the nurse's office lit up, displaying a girl's face, Junko Enoshima. At the same time, a voice completely unlike Monokuma's began to play from the speakers. Is she making a broadcast? Let's hear it, Junko. I've forgotten the voice I gave Junko. Hey, Mukuro. Junko! It had been several days since Mukuro had heard of her sister's real voice. Though her face remained emotionless, excitement sparkled in her eyes. However, that shine immediately dulled. I'm grateful to you, Mukuro. I mean it. Junko's voice emanating from the speaker sounded very gentle and kind. Junko? I'm really sorry. I said so many mean things to you. I even tried to kill you earlier, and I was about to make you do something horrible just now. Even though I know about your feelings toward Makoto, you don't have to force yourself. Even if you didn't notice, it was totally obvious to anyone looking at you. You never cared about the class photos. But when Makoto said he was going to take one, you made sure you were facing the camera. That's right! That's a thing! I completely forgot that was a thing! And then Junko, Junko Enoshima, the ultimate despair, flashed a smile. A pure sweet smile. From Junko? God, I can't imagine that. On the monitor, she looked like a normal high school girl teasing her older sister. Yet, Mukuro could feel despair and anxiety encasing themselves around her. I always thought you should have tried hard to take pictures with Makoto. But I guess that's what makes you so disappointing. Still, even though you're disappointing and annoying, I still love you. Mukuro trembled upon hearing those words. Love you. That's all she ever wanted to hear her sister say. Mukuro believed. No matter what Junko said, she believed she really loved her. Oh god. She believed she was the only one who could truly understand the despair known as Junko Enoshima. She was naive. As soon as she heard Junko say I love you, Mukuro realized she never completely understood her sister. It was only at this moment that Mukuro finally understood her sister's feelings. Junko's words right now were kind. Perhaps that kindness was completely honest. The words I love you might have been true as well. However, for Junko Enoshima, this was her way of saying goodbye. Oh shit! She was severing the ties between them. It was painfully clear to Mukuro. And then, before she could even say anything, the girl in the monitor made a remark that cut Mukuro to the bone. I'm sure someday you'll make your dreams come true. Ultimate despairs never talk to each other like this. A simple truth stabbed into Mukuro's heart. Junko had no further use for her. Her own sister was parting ways with her. Mukuro had dedicated over 10 years of her life to the cause of ultimate despair. At this moment, it all counted for nothing. But those years no longer mattered to Mukuro. Her sister's rejection was more than enough to send her into the depths of despair. That's why Mukuro, even now, clung to a small sliver of hope. Meanwhile, Junko was still on the monitor. Yeah, right. Did you really think I'd say something that nice? You're so annoying. Can't you just hurry up and disappear already? Mukuro hoped Junko would say something like that. She hoped that she'd start verbally abusing her again or call her useless and incompetent. Mukuro was no masochist, but she preferred to be showered with bullets and contempt than endure this kind of emotional pain. But I love you, Mukuro. Bye-bye! The monitor went black, leaving Mukuro to process the horrible goodbye she'd just received. As if on cue, Monokuma started moving again. God, I feel bad for Mukuro. Isn't family love so nice? By the way, did you know that in about half of all murder cases, the killer is a family member? Monokuma spoke in his usual tone of voice, but it was unclear if his words were getting through to Mukuro. Mukuro let the blood pack in her hand fall to the floor, and tightened her grip on the iron bars she was still holding. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Junko, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. She mumbled quietly as if she were chanting a spell, and walked past the blood pack on the floor to Makoto's bedside with the iron bar in her hands. I'll do it properly. I'll make sure I do it. So... Oh? Said Monokuma, perking up.
What are you gonna do properly to Makoto with that big, thick rod you got?
Oh god. This is a sad moment, don't make me laugh.
Are you gonna do him? Or are you gonna do him in? Either way, I'm starting to feel some heart-throbbing excitement.
Mukuro looked like she had been completely broken. Monokuma walked closer to her with eager anticipation. Suddenly, Monokuma's body silently floated into the air. Huh?
Huh?
With no expression on his face, Monokuma tried to see what had just happened to him. And in the blink of an eye, an iron bar ripped through his body. Mukuro. The tip of the bar, which had been cut diagonally earlier into a sharp point, went straight through Monokuma and stabbed into a surveillance camera. The lens was completely destroyed, and the camera shot out sparks as it broke down. The iron bar was still stabbed into the surveillance camera as Monokuma dangled from the other end. He opened his mouth as if to say something, but only static came out. 2 seconds later, his functions came to a complete stop. Without making a sound at all, Mukuro had kicked Monokuma into the air. As soon as Monokuma's power source and his bomb circuit had perfectly aligned with the surveillance camera in the nurse's office, Mukuro plunged the iron bar into all 3 of them. Holy shit! No normal human has the skill to utilize such a technique, not even an ultimate. All the hesitation within Mukuro had vanished. Her eyes sparkled like a panther stalking its prey at night. Oh shit! Mukuro is pissed! A tense aura surrounded Mukuro, even more so than when she fought Sakura earlier. Ignoring Kuma's lightless form, she looked at Makoto as he breathed softly, and remembered her sister's parting words. So, this is despair, she murmured to herself. I'm so sorry, Junko. I never really understood what despair was. She spoke without emotion, like a machine. But it's going to be alright now. I finally understand. Hidden within her, passions began to stir. So, I'll make sure I make you happy, Junko. I'll make sure I fill you with despair. Save Makoto. I'll make sure the others don't die. I'll let them escape from this place. I'll deal with the people on the outside too. You invested so much time and killed so many people for the sake of this plan. And I'll destroy every last remnant of it for you. This was not an act of vengeance toward the sister who had abandoned her. This was an act of mercy. Stuck between the ultimate despair and the hope she gained from Makoto, Mukuro was being refined into something that was unlike despair or hope, and she had no way of knowing where her path would lead. God damn, this is good. God damn, this is good. This is good. Over 10 minutes had passed. The sound of the students leaving the gym and making their way to the nurse's office rang throughout the hall. Genocide Jack had continued to dodge Sakura's attacks with her tricky movements, but when Byaku blurted out, "Enough already, you irritating pervert," Genocide Jack stopped in her tracks.
Oh my! Getting chewed out by my bespectacled Byaku is making my masochistic side get all tingly. They say the line between sadism and masochism is paper thin, but in my case it's more like a Venn diagram. Holy shit. Words can't explain these odd waves of passion scrubbing from the top of my head to the tips of my toes. As she rambled incoherently about Byakuya, the other students tied her up with a microphone cable from the gym and locked her in her room. Half the students stayed behind to keep an eye on her, while the rest left to search the grounds of the school. As soon as the door to the nurse's office opened, Kyoko saw a non-functioning Monokuma with a hole in his chest, and the remains of a surveillance camera. It wasn't just in the nurse's office though. On their way there, students had seen several destroyed surveillance cameras and scattered Monokuma bodies. Mukuro is just going ham at this point. This was a clear violation of school regulations, but if Mukuro was allied with Monokuma, those regulations wouldn't apply to her anyway. The Monokuma inside the gym was no longer moving, and the students had lost contact with the hacker, Beshiki Madurai. I think that's how it's called, or Beshiki, or I don't know. So the students assumed that Madurai had taken control of a different Monokuma and went after Mukuro on his own. With that in mind, Kyoko turned and looked inside the nurse's office once again. It was unusually quiet. The beds were empty, but Kyoko could see from the bloodstains that someone had been resting there recently.
Looks like they're already gone. No, looks like they're already gone. Honor remarked, but as he was about to leave, Kyoko spoke up behind him. I need to stay here with Chihiro and search for clues. Huh? Asked Chihiro, her timid eyes widening. Clues? Kyoko continued to speak in a calm tone of voice. Yes, there may be some clues in the Monokuma remains. I figured you would be the best candidate for investigating machinery. Sakura spoke up. But isn't that dangerous? Since Sakura could clearly hold her own in a fight with Mukuro, she had joined the other students in searching the school grounds. Kyoko shook her head and replied, I'm sorry to say this, but if things get out of hand, Chihiro and I will just be in your way. I think it's better if we search for clues here instead of doing nothing. Besides, we might be able to use Monokuma's parts to detect any radio broadcasts from the outside world. You certainly have a point. Understood. We'll be exploring this floor for a while, but please shout for us if anything happens. Sakura left the nurse's office. How did she destroy Monokuma like this? As Chihiro cautiously stood over Monokuma's remains, Kyoko started searching throughout the room. She zeroed in on one of the beds and began studying it intensely. A moment later, Kyoko was satisfied with what she found and let out a small sigh before she spoke. Hiro, let me apologize to you in advance. Huh? I dragged you into this gamble of mine, so if anything happens, run out into the hallway and call for help. What does that mean? But instead of answering Chihiro's question, Kyoto started talking to one of the empty beds. Oh? What? What? Let me say this first. I'm prepared to hear your story. No matter how ridiculous it may sound, I promise not to decide if it's a lie or the truth until after I've listened to it in its entirety. Mukuro is there! No way! Chihiro looked confused. She didn't understand what Kyoko meant at all. The ultimate ... No, question mark. Detective lowered her eyes and turned to the ultimate programmer to make a request. Chihiro, does your laptop have a voice recording function? And do you also have a microphone? Yeah. I want you to use that to record everything we're about to hear. But there's no one here. As Chihiro wondered to herself, she began connecting Monokuma's parts to her laptop and turned on the record function. Chihiro is a beast! Oh, not a beast, but Chihiro! I'm sure we'll pick up every sound in this room now, said Chihiro nervously. Satisfied, Kyoko nodded and once again started talking to the empty bed. So, what were you going to do if I told everyone that I found Mukuro? When she heard Kyoko say that, Chihiro looked back at her and was surprised by what she saw. At that moment, the ultimate programmer was kneeling on the floor next to Monokuma's remains. From that position, she was able to see it. Of all the beds in the nurse's office, there was one bed in particular that couldn't be seen from the entrance. Underneath that bed lay a limp Makoto. A blood pack was hidden next to the bed and slowly providing Makoto with a transfusion. The contents of the blood pack were clear. Rather than blood, it seemed to be some kind of saline solution used in emergency hydration. Though it wouldn't be as effective as an actual blood transfusion, it was enough to keep him from going into shock. Though that was the extent of Chihiro's medical knowledge, he was already surprised that Makoto had been in the nurse's office this whole time. Not only that, but Kyoko wasn't talking to the bed that Makoto was under, which sent chills throughout Chihiro's body. However, there was nobody under the bed that Kyoko was facing. But the moment Chihiro noticed that, a voice rang out from underneath it. As soon as everyone's attention was focused on Makoto, I was planning to take advantage of that opportunity to take someone hostage. As Chihiro cautiously lowered her head until it was nearly touching the floor, she was able to make out who was talking. Surprisingly, the person hiding there was clinging to the frame of the bed, like a ninja clinging to the ceiling. Presumably, if someone had glanced under the bed quickly, they wouldn't have noticed anybody was there. Though Chihiro had no idea how the person was able to hide under the bed for so long, she could at least understand that their strength was beyond normal human levels. There was no question that the person hiding under the bed was Mukuro Ikusaba. But you pretended not to notice. Why? Mukuro's voice was as cold as ice, but Kyoko didn't even flinch as she responded. Because I wanted to hear your side of the story. I knew you were hiding under that bed. Compared to the others, the frame was slightly more pronounced. Hiro tried comparing the beds to see if this was true, but she couldn't tell the difference at all. Only Kyoko's natural observation skills could let her see something like this. Mukuro seemed to come to a similar conclusion and appeared from under the bed without making a sound. Her face was stoic and cold. Compared to the bomb inside Monokuma, Chihiro thought she was even more terrifying. However, Mukuro ignored Chihiro and shifted her gaze at Kyoko. She leaned against the wall and let her arms fall to her sides. She threw out another question. Why do you want to hear what I have to say? Kyoko thought about this simple question for a while, as if she were searching within her own heart for the answer. I have to provide an answer. It's because I wish to remain neutral. Kyoko quietly looked down. I'm currently missing most of my memories. I don't know who I am or what talent I had to be accepted into this school. She could hear Chihiro gasp behind her, but Kyoko didn't mind and continued. But even so, I believe I should listen to what you have to say. Regardless of whether you're good or evil, I must hear all the facts in order to know the truth. Good and evil don't matter. I'll come to a conclusion based on what I see and hear. I think that's the mythology that's been instilled into me. I see. I completely forgot you were like that, Kyoko. But before I listen to what you have to say, I'd like to ask you one question first. What is it? Mukuro's reply was completely emotionless. Kyoko presented her question as if she were asking it of herself as well. What was my talent? What was my talent that allowed me to attend this academy? The answer to that question was simple. Kyoko, you're the ultimate detective. That answer marked a turning point for both girls. Thank you. I have a better understanding of the situation now. Kyoko slowly raised her hand and presented a theory. If my memory loss wasn't just a coincidence, then No. Your group has the ability to erase people's memories. With that in mind, if we take into consideration the situation that unfolded in the gym earlier, I can only come to one possibility. Possibility? Yes. What you said to Byakuya when you thought you were taking Tako hostage, you claimed that they met 2 years ago. Possible that might actually be true. The fact that Makoto called out Mukuro's name, the things that Mukuro confirmed and denied, genocide jacks out outlandish claims. These key factors that Kyoko noticed using her special observation skills were converging in her mind to form one answer. So, from what I can tell, there are 3 protagonists in Danganronpa THH IF. Obviously Makoto, obviously Mukuro, and a third one, which wasn't very clear from the title, Kyoko. It's possible that Byakuya and Toko's memories were also erased like mine. But I don't think their circumstances are quite the same as mine. But if memories can be controlled so freely, it calls into question whether the day Monokuma appeared was really the same day we entered the academy. Like you said, it's possible that we've known Toko Fukawa for the last 2 years. It's getting late. I don't have much more time to record. What do you mean? What do you mean? Chihiro cried, still working on connecting her laptop to Monokuma's parts. Kyoko continued, speaking to both Chihiro and Mukuro. We thought we were knocked unconscious with the sleeping gas the moment we arrived at the school. But it's possible that we were simply made to think that's what happened. For example, we may have already spent the last 2 years at Hope Speak Academy, and our memories of that time were completely erased. It's even possible that we aren't even ultimates at all, just random people who've been implanted with 16 years worth of false memories. Though Kyoko's claim sounded completely ridiculous, her face was completely serious. She looked up at Mukuro once again. It means, I'm considering the possibility that your crazy story is actually the truth. Kyoko's declaration filled the room with silence, but she didn't let that silence overwhelm her. Kyoko cut through it with her own words. Without evidence, all I can do is make hypotheses. That's why I want to hear what you have to say, Mukuro. I have no intention of blindly believing what you're going to say, or what that self-proclaimed hacker who took over Monokuma said. She paused and lowered her eyes again, and declared with powerful determination, Even so, I intend to come to a conclusion as fairly and objectively as I can. But I can only do that if you trust me and tell me the truth. Kyoko's conviction was clear from her voice. Mukuro's eyes narrowed slightly, and a tapestry of emotions flashed across her face as she looked toward Kyoko. But when she opened her mouth, her expression and voice were completely devoid of emotion. That's right. I completely forgot you were like that. Mukuro repeated this to herself softly, and then faced Kyoko and declared, That must be why Junko took care to erase more of your memories compared to the others. Very well. I'll tell you everything. And after Mukuro placed Makoto back onto the bed, she began to mechanically tell a story. The story of a girl who wanted to fill the world with despair. A girl who only felt truly happy when she was filled with despair herself. A plan for despair that began 2 years ago. Or perhaps even earlier than that. How the world was currently ruled by despair itself. Mukuro provided a brief summary of everything she knew about the plan. That's why it sounded even more outrageous than Kyoko had expected. And through her story, Kyoko was able to learn the truth about herself, who she is and why she came to the academy. The fate of the academy's real headmaster, Jin Kirigiri, Kyoko's father. As she listened to Mukuro's story, Kyoko remained silent the whole time. Her face went blank when she learned that her father had died. Perhaps her memory loss and the absurdity of the situation helped lessen the impact somewhat. There was no guarantee Kyoko would even believe her story. After Mukuro finished speaking, Kyoko stayed silent. With her unrivaled mental prowess, she was able to listen to Mukuro's story without interrupting her or dismissing it as nonsense. Mukuro continued. You don't have to believe me. After all, any pictures that could prove my theory are with Junko. All I can do is talk. After she said that, Mukuro silently walked toward the entrance to the nurse's office. When she arrived at the door, she spoke again without looking back. But even if you don't believe me, you still listened to everything I had to say, so Kyoko? Chihiro, thank you. After apologizing in such a strange tone of voice, she turned to the bed where Makoto lay, breathing weakly. Make sure Makoto stays rested. When he wakes up, make sure you give him some sports drinks from the dining hall or supply room to drink. Please. Of course, but what are you going to do now? Mukuro straightened herself up. Despair. I need to make Junko feel despair. Mukuro continued mumbling to herself as she opened the door. There's nothing else I can do. No, there is something else you can do. Mukuro stopped walking as Kyoko spoke firmly. Regardless of whether Monokuma is really Junko Enoshima or Besiki Madurai, if you're dealing with him, you won't be able to lay a finger on Makoto. I don't fully trust you, but if you're really concerned for Makoto's life, I'm willing to work with you. Unlike Besiki, who's probably abandoned him already. Right? I'm sorry. I don't really work well with others. Mukuro looked away, then bowed her head as she left the nurse's office. But I'll do my best. The doors closed, and Mukuro was gone. I'm sorry for involving you in something so dangerous, Chihiro. As she continued to organize the vast amount of information that Mukuro gave her, Kyoko turned to Chihiro, who was still working on Monokuma. As she trembled with fear, Chihiro slowly looked back at Kyoko. Kyoko? About what Mukuro just said just now? Chihiro's face turned pale as she struggled with her words, and Kyoko tried to calm her down. I can't determine if anything she told us was true or not. No need to be afraid. But Chihiro shook her head and returned to looking at her laptop. I think she's telling the truth. You're basing that on... well, it looks like Monokuma is really being controlled from the outside. Part of Monokuma's system had been connected to Chihiro's laptop, and she was analyzing the data within its control system. And it was then that the ultimate programmer noticed something unusual about it. This control program... I thought it would be another year before the system could become fully operational. Chihiro started trembling so much that she was unable to continue speaking. I can confirm that, said Kyoko, proposing another possibility to avoid jumping to conclusions. It's possible that a similar program was being developed in secret. But Chihiro adamantly shook her head and said, No, that's not it. It just looks really This just confirms DR2. And now that I've said that, I'm probably not gonna upload this video until I finish the game. Damn it! Good job, Eduardo. Good job. Props, everyone. Good job. And yeah, I'm so stupid. I was already planning on doing that anyways. Kyoko looked over Chihiro's trembling shoulders to peer at the screen, and that's what she noticed. This program. Chihiro, did you create this? All the Ultimate Programmer could do was not weekly. And with that, we're gonna end here. Oh my god. Revelations everywhere. So, a lot of cool shit happened in this reading session. I think my favorite part was the separation between Junko and Mukuro, because Mukuro's response was just fucking badass. She straight up stabbed Monokuma through and through and destroyed the surveillance camera at the same time. It's fucking hell, man. Mukuro. I need to find a better voice for Mukuro. As well as for everyone. I need to remind myself of the voices I gave them. 3 games in, you'd expect me to know, but nope. Anyways, that'll be all for now. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, consider leaving a like and subscribing if you are new to the channel. And if you want to be notified of future uploads like this one, well, you know what to do. Also, if you want to be notified of Wait, what? Wait, no. If you want to join my Discord server, link will be in the description below. Guys, until next time, peace!